Hi, everyone, and welcome to Math 109, College Algebra with Modeling at Greenville Tech. I'm Kira Garfolo, your instructor for the semester. I wanted to take a few moments to walk you through our Blackboard shell and show you where all of the big things that you'll need to know are, as well as walk through the syllabus and other important aspects of our course. So when you log into our Blackboard page, you should see something that looks about like this. As you might imagine, you're going to start where it says Start Here. When you click on this module, you'll see lots of other things that come up. The first thing that I would recommend doing this in sequential order. When you go to course overview, you're going to see some important things about the course. It's going to give you an idea of what to expect in the course, some objectives, even though those will be spelled out a little bit more in a few other places. Basically a written version of everything I'm going to tell you as far as getting started. There's a block of tips for success in the class. As you might imagine, you need to make sure that you stay up to date with content, take advantage of those tips for success that I'll provide each week in each chapter. Make sure that you get help if you need it, and I'll show you some resources for help here in a moment. If you're new to Blackboard Ultra, this could look all very strange to you. Most of your courses should be in Ultra starting now if they haven't already. But if you ever get lost and can't find something, look around for a little while. But if you start to get frustrated, always reach out to me and I'm happy to point you in the right direction, verify that it's been made available. Ultra is still relatively new to us faculty too, and sometimes it's just flat out weird. So certainly don't be afraid to reach out. Okay, closing that. The next bullet has course objectives and key dates. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by reading all of this to you. You guys can read. But here is a great place to quickly reference big dates for our course, like when it starts, when the last day to drop is, when the withdrawal deadline, our finals, all things like that. Here are our course level objectives. You'll see these in a couple of different places, but by the end of this class, you should successfully be able to complete all of these items. And that's a lot of fun stuff we'll learn, huh? On Meet Your Instructor, it's all about me. Go ahead and read that. If you prefer to watch another video, I'm not going to click on that because it's painfully awkward for me to watch for myself, but you can click here. And then you can get my office hours and contact information all right here. This will be here all semester, so you don't need to, write any of this down. You can always reference it if you're looking for me, need to contact me, any of that stuff. My office phone number is here. I would encourage you not to use that as a primary mode of conversation with me. I'm happy to arrange a phone call with you, but unless I'm in my office at the Barton campus, which is only 2 days a week, I will not know that you called and I will not get your voicemail. So if you need to talk on the phone, honestly, the best thing to do is to send me an email at this address, and we'll go from there. I can certainly arrange a phone call from there. My office is at the Barton campus in the University Transfer Building on the second floor. It's 225. I will be in my office for student hours guaranteed, at least on Mondays and Wednesdays from 9:30 to 11. And then I'll be at the Brazier campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays, available at least from 11 to noon. Then I have guaranteed availability for online hours from noon to 2:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You'll be able to use this Zoom link to get that. And then, of course, if you need another time, whether it's in person or virtual, reach out because I'm usually fairly flexible and I can usually help. And a lot of times I can help by email if we can't find a time, in the immediate future and we have to schedule a little bit out. And in the meantime, to kind of limp you along, I can often provide examples, some hints, things like that via email. One important thing about online office hours is typically I do not leave the Zoom meeting room open while I'm doing other things. If nobody is there, it kind of drains things and I'm always, clicking things and closing it out on accident or whatever. So send me an email or, if you see me, let me know that you're going to join and I will certainly open it up for you. You can click on that link at any time, but I won't be there to admit you. So, just shoot me an email. You don't have to make an appointment a week in advance or anything, but that'll guarantee that the Zoom room is actually open. Just a quick note, please make sure that you're emailing me from your Greenville Tech email address. That makes sure we're all in accordance with FERPA and privacy. It also makes it easier for me to reference which section you're in. If you put that somewhere in your email or subject line, that makes it even easier for me to figure it out. If I have to go into your homework or anything like that, it's easier for me to nail down exactly where to find the problem that you're stuck on and exactly where to find your specific problem and specific grade that you're asking about. I do try to respond to emails very quickly. I'm trying to work on boundaries though. So sometimes you get a real fast response. Sometimes it might be the next morning, if you email me in the evening and it's not a super quick yes or no response. But definitely within 24 business hours, I will get back to you. If you wait until 11 o'clock on that Sunday night that it's due, you probably won't hear from me before it's due. So don't mistake that non-answer as an extension, because it's not. I'll have all of your materials graded within a week. It actually gives me a lot of anxiety to have a stack of tests to grade. So most of the time they're going to be graded before that. Every once in a while I get all my classes taking a test back to back to back to back, and it takes me, closer to that 1 week margin. But don't be surprised. Sometimes I get them turned around within 24 hours. Don't expect that, but you can be hopeful, right? If you want to learn a little bit about me and my background, here it is. Again, I'm not going to insult your intelligence here. There's another video up there if you want to listen to me explain all of that. And of course, be respectful when you're communicating with me or with your classmates. I'm not big on making sure that it's super formal, but at the same time, please remember that I am your instructor and that I am a human and that we should treat each other with respect. The materials and technology page just gives you a brief overview of what you'll need. You do not need to buy a textbook for this course. This course is inclusive access, which means that you will be charged, I don't remember the amount, as soon as drop ad is over. And then that is going to include your textbook and our homework program. That's definitely your cheapest way to go. It's an online e-text. You can certainly get a paper version of the text if you're that kind of person that needs the paper text, but that will be a supplement to your inclusive access. You'll have to accept inclusive access when you click on the links. I'll show you those here in a second. You can opt out. It's at the bottom of the student resources. Again, I would highly, highly discourage that unless you have some sort of situation where you still have MyLab available to you and that you're going to have it available for the full semester. If you find yourself in that situation, please reach out and we can make sure that everything's sorted out. The bookstore can probably help you with that also. It's very important that you get the right calculator for our class. You can have a TI-83 or a TI-84. Lots of models of those, but any of the 83s or 84s are allowed. You are not allowed to have a TI-89, and you'll be asked to show your calculator at the beginning of each test. And an 89 will be a violation of the testing protocols. I'm going to show you the syllabus document here in a moment. It's going to give you some information about the minimum requirements for your online course. Specifically things like memory, internet connection speed, webcam, microphone, all of that stuff for our online testing. The accessibility statements for most of what we use can be found down here if you need those as well. Now the course syllabus is a big one. I'm going to come right back to that. At the bottom of our course syllabus is the schedule of our class meetings. Even though we're online, we don't fully meet. But you can get an idea of what to expect each week. I put it here as a separate link because that concourse document is big and it's long and it's kind of a pain. So if you keep just this schedule handy, that will be easier. It's easier to download, print, any of that, or just reference quickly versus going through that whole syllabus. So when we click on the syllabus, oh yes, I'm in student preview, so I'm not a certified user. When you click on the syllabus, you should see something like this. It might look slightly different since I'm in the instructor version and I can edit it and things like that. But overall, it should look very much like this. I'm not going to spend too much time reading through this. It is very long and there's a lot of redundancy if you have other classes in arts and sciences. But you can see here that our meeting times, we don't actually meet, everything's online. And you want to make sure that you reference your course schedule in Blackboard for weekly announcements. It's going to tell you exactly what's due every week, and exactly what is going to be graded and what is going to be used for your weekly attendance. Please note that simply doing your homework each week is not enough to keep you in the course. There are other attendance requirements, often a quiz, that you need to do to stay in the course. If you're checking Blackboard and checking your email regularly, there will be no question on what is due each week because I will send a weekly announcement at the start of every week as far as what you need to do for the week, as well as everything's in that course schedule as well. Here's my information again, my office hours again. Easier probably to reference them straight from Blackboard, but if you need them, they're here. I'm going to let you guys read through most of this stuff. Your learning outcomes are all here. Core competencies are there. Grading information is the standard 90, 80, 70, 60 for the rest of, well, for most of Greenville Tech. But your criteria are here as well. So we have 4 unit tests, and each one of those is going to count 14% of your total grade. So unit tests overall are going to be over half of your grade at 56%. Now, if you bomb one of your tests or you have to miss one of your tests, don't panic. Your final exam can replace your lowest test score. If you miss more than one test, that second test will certainly be recorded as a 0 and it will stick. But like I said, if you just have one really bad unit test, eventually, work hard, start over with the next unit, and that'll basically go away at the end of the course when your final exam replaces it, as long as you do well on the final. Your homework is 10% of the class grade. You'll have homework every week. Every covered section has its own homework. You can try it unlimited amount of times to get a good grade. I certainly encourage you to work through your homework and get a good grade because it's very difficult to do well on the unit test without doing decently on the homework. You also have quizzes most weeks. They count for 5% of your grade. They're also for mastery. They're often used for your attendance. And they are also unlimited attempts so that you can get, they're supposed to help your grade in more ways than one, not just the quiz grades, not just that 5% of your grade, but also if you can do well on the quizzes, you can do well on the test. You'll have a project that'll be assigned near the end of the course. That's also 5% of your grade. And then the final exam is the remaining 24% of your grade. Like I said, it can replace that low unit test. So it can really be 24% plus 14% of your final grade as long as you do well. Course policies, please read over these. The department policies are here. Big things here are there's going to be homework. Your tests are mandatory. You cannot make up a test. You cannot exempt a test. If you miss a test, it'll be recorded as a 0, and then that'll get replaced as the final exam. If you need help, the Math Center is available. There's some details here. And I will show you some other details here in a moment. If you have a problem with my course, I highly encourage you to take it up with me first. If that's not satisfactory or you're not comfortable with that, my department head's name and information is here. And if that still isn't satisfactory, the interim dean's information is right here on the syllabus. Make sure that you check your version of the syllabus as if any of this information changes or is different for your semester. It will be automatically updated in this system for you even mid-semester. So if there's staffing changes or there are policy changes or updates, you can always go back to the live version of this in your Blackboard shell and you'll see the current information. The instructor policies section is something that you absolutely need to be sure that you read. It's my personal policies, my personal beliefs. Again, no late anything is accepted, generally speaking. If you have extenuating circumstances or maybe you've just had a really rough week, I am more flexible with homework. Don't wear out your chances. I'm not going to give you an extension every week, but everybody has a crappy week. Everybody has an overwhelming week or a family emergency or whatever. I have 2 kids, a toddler and preschooler and a baby. And so they're just passing stuff back and forth constantly. I swear, I get it. Some weeks suck and some weeks are overwhelming. If you need an extension for that, that's something that you can email me and ask. And I'm usually pretty happy to extend assignments. A little more difficult with quizzes, but I'll still do it sometimes. But just so that you know, you don't want to ask for that every week because obviously, that's going to become a problem. I cannot do the same for tests. I cannot do the same for the project. Those have hard deadlines, but you do have a window of time to complete them. Keep in mind that the attendance rules for the school, they're in the syllabus too. Most important for our class is that 14-day rule. So the 14-day rule says that if you are marked absent for not marked absent, you are not marked present for 14 consecutive days, then you are removed from the class. If it's before the withdrawal deadline, you get a W. If it's after, you get a WF, and that impacts your GPA. You only get counted attendance each Sunday for an online class. So if you miss 2 consecutive weeks of the attendance requirement, you will get withdrawn from the course. Please note that we can file for reinstatement if that's something that you want to do, but you must be making good academic progress in the class. You must be on track to pass. You must be doing work as you go. It's also important that you have let me know why you're missing things along the way. If you know that you're not going to be able to do something, or that something's going on, and that you're probably going to end up withdrawn, letting me know in advance makes the reinstatement process a lot easier. Reinstatement is kind of a paperwork hoop jump for, I think 6 people have to sign off on it. And reasons have to be given along the way. So I don't need, the whole personal details. Please don't disclose more than you're comfortable with, but, letting me know that something's going on, and that you are still interested in the course and that you are still trying. You're just having a rough go of it. And we can talk about attendance, and we can also talk about, homework extensions, things like that. I always encourage you to reach out with communication more than anything. Our tests will be given by Proctorio, which is an online proctoring service. If you've never used it, make sure that you pay close attention to the instructions that I send with that first test that we're going to have. Every test after that will follow the same ideas. But basically, it's going to lock down your browser so that you can only see the test. And then it's also going to watch all of your web traffic. It's going to watch you. It's going to look for cheating. If you are not doing anything shady, then nothing's going to happen. It does not automatically fail you or automatically make any decisions. It sends an email to me and I check it out. I check them out anyway, so please don't try to pull a fast one. And also please know that cheating in online courses or in person is taken very seriously by me. So please don't try that. Don't put me in that situation. If you get a 0 because you were cheating, that 0 cannot be replaced by the final. So you'd be better off to bomb the test and let it replace anyway. So yes, please don't make me go there. Let's see. There's the administrative withdrawal piece. Make sure that you go ahead and read that because it's going to be important. School policies down here are School of Arts and Science policies. So read through that. Some of these are redundant with the institutional policies, and I understand that. So, read what you need to. Certainly skim at least all of it. And at the very bottom, you'll see the schedule for our course. This is the one that we have a PDF of also. You can see each week here has a list of things to do. And then it has what your attendance will be and what your homework will be. So it doesn't explicitly mention your homework, but if it's listed here as 1-1 and 1-2, then your homework for 1-1 and 1-2 is due this Sunday night. The first week, you also have this policy form, you have a syllabus quiz, and the last day to drop is the 13th, and so on. At the bottom of this, you're going to see some key dates again. It's going to remind you about homework and weekly quizzes. It's going to remind you about drop deadlines, withdrawal deadlines. It's also going to give you the tests and the final information. Whew. Okay. Again, clicking on course schedule, this is a lot easier to look at than that. Here is the course schedule that you will look at. Make sure that you check this. It will get updated for any changes, and also check any announcements that we have. For your first week, pay close attention. If your course has a discussion board for introductions, it'll be right here. There'll be instructions there for that. Your policy acknowledgement form is mandatory for all arts and sciences classes. If you do not do it, you do not remain in the course. So please do that. It's very basic information. And then there's a syllabus quiz. It will be due on Sunday. You can take it as many times as you want, but I highly encourage you to get 100 on it, especially because it counts as a real quiz. So go ahead and start strong, and that'll give you a little bit more leeway if anything gets messed up. If you click on student resources, you're going to find some important information here. There's information about free tutoring at the Math Center. There's a help sheet for our calculators. There's what I call the algebra cheat sheet. Please note it's not available on tests. I call it a cheat sheet because it's just a quick reference guide. Some of the most common mistakes in algebra. If you're reaching out for Zoom virtual hours, they're right here. That's going to give you that link to that Zoom meeting. And then these right here are Greenville Tech resources. So various institutional resources. If you're looking for how to contact somebody, say in financial aid, things like that, you can go here. If for some reason you need to talk to a librarian, you can go here. That's probably not more common in our class, but in some classes it can be very useful. If you were opting out of that inclusive access, again, be careful with that. But if you find yourself there, this is the link that you'll use. Now, all of our homework and most of our quizzes in our class are given through MyLab, which is our publisher's homework platform. So if you click on this MyLab Math, you're going to see lots of links come up. Right here is our textbook. It's going to give you a version of the text. And then you have the course home and all assignments. These are similar here. If you go to the course home, it's going to take you to this calendar view. Up here, once you submit some assignments, you're going to see a score. That's going to be the overall score for your homework grades. Any of your quizzes are manually input by me, and that's so that I can control some more things about them. So this will just be the homework average that is sent over for your grades. And then down here, it's going to tell you about your assignments, anything you've completed, anything currently assigned, and anything you've missed. And that is just for the dates on this calendar. Okay, so if you want the next 2 weeks, you go here, and it's going to say, hey, on the 15th, you have this homework due. You can click on it, and it'll take you to that homework. Okay. And on the 22nd, you have these 3 homeworks and a quiz due. You can change this if you want to look at a whole month at a time. You can do that also. And at the bottom, it's going to list everything that's due and when. And you can get directly to the homework by clicking on that. You can also, instead of clicking on course home, you can just go to all assignments. And it'll take you straight to this page where all of your homework is listed and all of the quizzes are listed. There are certainly other ways to get there. If you find yourself somewhere, there are a lot of other links that I encourage you to explore. If you need support, it's right there. But there's a calendar that shows all those due dates. Be careful going straight to homework. It's not going to show you those quizzes. That's why I used the all assignments above. But if you combine homework and quiz link, you can find both of them. If you just want to see your grades, you can go here. You can get there from that course home also. And then there's all these integrated reviews and all these other things. If you need more work, more review for each chapter, they're all here. And there's all kinds of study plan. There's multimedia libraries if you need some more videos, if you need learning practice, things like that. There's all kinds of stuff from our publisher that can help you if you need it. Now, once you're through all of that and you're familiar with our course, you're ready to begin with the material. Each chapter has its own module. So let's look at chapter 1. It's going to start with a checklist and objectives. And it's going to tell you, hey, here's what you need to do to succeed in chapter 1. They're going to be similar, right? You're going to need to read the sections. You're going to need to read the calculator help. If you need additional MyLab resources, you can use those. You're going to want to watch the lecture videos and do your homework assignments, okay? So make sure that you follow all of those instructions. Your objectives for each section in chapter 1 are going to be here. Lecture materials are in here. So there are full-length recorded lectures that I have posted for every section that we cover. So if you click on these, it's going to take you to videos on YouTube of the sections that are covered. So I encourage you to skim your text first and then watch these. Make sure that you pause along the way, do whatever you need to actually practice those problems, just like if you were sitting in a classroom. If you'd like actual slides, the PowerPoints are here that you can follow along with. On each of the lecture notes, there's also a link to the departmental lecture notes page. It's a very long PDF of all of the lecture notes for all of our course. But embedded within those is another instructor's really quick examples, really quick videos. So if you need a little bit more help with just one aspect of chapter 1, section 1, you can go look through those departmental lecture notes and you can see, some examples specific to what you need without watching a whole additional lecture. And then there's a link to your assignments if you'd like that. It's the same link as above. So I've made sure that I've put it in several places so that you never forget to do your homework. Now this exists for each chapter. And then before each test, you can click on the review. There's a document that are tips for studying math in general. But the really important thing for you is going to be this test review material. So when you click on that document, it's going to have tons of information here, study guides, old tests, answer keys, things like that. So there's no shortage of material here. Some of them are from other instructors. Some of them are from me. So I would probably look for the ones from me. I try to put my name on them. They're going to be most similar to what you can expect on your test. No surprise there, right? Okay, now if you're curious about your grade for the course, you can come up here to gradebook. Discussions will get you to that introductory discussion board, any discussion boards that your section has. Messages, you can send and receive messages. They're like the emails for your course. Sometimes I will send them to you by announcement is most common because then it pops up as an announcement also. But if you need to send me a message and you can't remember my email address, you can send a message through there. I always encourage my students to actually use my email as primary if they think about it, only because email is synced to my phone and this is not. So if I'm not in my office or I'm not on my computer or I'm in class or whatever other reason, I won't see your message in Blackboard nearly as quickly as I'm going to see it in Gmail. So keep that in mind when you need me. When I post announcements, they'll be here. If you haven't read the announcement, it's a new announcement. It'll pop up when you log into the course page also. Pay close attention to those announcements. Like I said, I'll copy them to your email as well. But those announcements are going to be important information. Most commonly on Sunday nights or sometime on Monday, I will send a weekly announcement that's going to tell you exactly what you need to do to succeed for the week and exactly what's going to be due that week. As always, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to help. And welcome to my class. I hope we have a great semester together.